Hello, Vera. My name is David
Good
Ebo.
afternoon, David.
Hi, I appreciate you. I speak on behalf of TNN, which is the New Nigeria. Um, we intend to bridge the gap between diaspora and Nigeria. We also intend to showcase our best, both in diaspora and Nigeria. I believe you're one of our best in Nigeria, doing their bit for the Nigerians, children, grown-ups, economy, and we just want to give a shout out to you. In this
Thank you.
vein, in this vein, we want you to introduce yourself. Please tell us who Vera is. Tell us about you. Tell us about your goals and aspirations. Tell us about your upbringing, what's brought you to this point in life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you for having me this afternoon. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank you for the good work that you are doing, across the globe, and especially for persons like us in Nigeria. I want to say thank you so much. My name is Vera Isoken Ogome. I'm from Edo State. I'm a graduate of Accounting and Finance from Abrusali University in Nigeria. I am a humanitarian. I'm the executive director of Help Ministry International 247, a community-based organization that gives free education to orphans and vulnerable children here in Nigeria. And I'm also the convener of the Give and Let's Live campaign on the fight against any form of abuse against women and children here in Nigeria, especially in rural communities. My upbringing actually motivated this passion, this vision, and this dream of mine. I had a very rough childhood, and I wanted to go to school. From that part of the Nigeria that I come from, when you're a first girl child, it's expected that when you become of a particular age, you are shipped out to go and do one or two things for the family and all that. But growing up, I actually just wanted to go back to school. I just wanted to go to school. And I had a very rough background at that time because my parents were going through a lot of issues. And in fact, they broke up, and it was not easy for us. I think I became I became responsible for myself and my younger one at the age of 13. So going back to school was very difficult for me. It was really hard. Especially when I was in GS1, GS2, GS3, I was always the last person to pay her school fees. And I used to remember my headmistress always screaming there, "Oh man, why are you always the last person to pay her fees? Why are you always the last person?" And sometimes an uncle will pay, sometimes an aunt will pay, sometimes a passerby will pay and all that. And also I was able to go through school, secondary, got into university, and today here I am. So that was actually my motivation in starting Help Ministry International 247. I wanted to give back. Mine was to be able to give standard education, because I believe that even if it's free, it must be standard. Standard education to orphans and vulnerable children, because I believe those are kids that have no voice, nobody to speak for them, nor fight for them. So I just wanted to be that voice, and that's, help that they need at that time, especially kids that want to go back to school, but they don't have the opportunity, they don't have the resources to go back to school. So my NGO is bridging that gap of ensuring that they go back to school. And I'm also the proprietress of HMI Stars Academy. That is a free school, in fact, a very standard free school for orphans and vulnerable children here in Nigeria. In a community from the Buhari Area Council, that's Pape, and the school cuts across 5 villages. We have Jikoko village, Ajegule village, Shape, Mafasha, Gwari, Katampewa. Those are the villages that this school is catered for. And we presently have 78 kids in that school, you know.
Wow.
And yes, and we have 15 staff, actually 70, but 2 is on, I think one of them is on maternity leave and the other person is sick. So we have 15 staffs right now, both academics and not academic staffs in the school. You know, I'm actually speaking from the office of the school right now. So that's where we are, David. And, you know.
That's fantastic. Very emotional. I feel goose pimples as you talk, because it takes a lot for anybody who, from your description of your background, to be able to deliver what you're delivering on ground. We are most grateful for that. Now, I'm going to go back. I want to take you back before I go forward. I want to know how it was like for you in university. I want to know how it was like for you in secondary school. You see, apart from giving your story, a lot of people will hear this story, especially people in diaspora and people in Nigeria. We need to let people know that no matter how it is, they cannot give up.
Yeah.
Must strive to achieve a purpose. So please tell me about some critical times in school, some good times in school, some things that motivated you even further to get to where you are now.
Okay. My secondary school days I had some beautiful side of it. And, you know, like I said earlier, as the first girl from a family, you know, my dad had 4 wives and my mom was the first, and I was the first girl. And, you know, growing up, I just wanted to go to school. I just wanted to go to school. And it got to a point that I realized that dream was not going to come. You know, started dwindling, you know, with my parents having their issues at that time. And I was supposed to actually just drop out of school. But I told myself, no, I wasn't going to drop out of school. In fact, I want to go to school. It was my song then. Everybody knew in my home, my family, that Vera wanted to go to school. But the resources was not there. The support was not there. But I just kept going on. I remember one of my friends' mom, Shelley, okay now. Her mom paid my fees, you know, for some time. I remember one of my uncles at one point, you know, because I just refused to go home. They would drive me the next day, I'll be back to school. You know, the school got tired of me. Oh, you know, they would drive me the next day, I'm back to school. They drive me again, I'm back. Because I didn't just want to go home. I didn't want to stay at home. I wanted to go to school. So God just started sending me help from my friends' parents to my uncles to sometimes people I don't know. This time, if they drive me home, somehow somebody will just come up and pay my fees. You know, that was how it was for me throughout secondary school. I was able to manage to finish my secondary school. I did my WAEC. I remember it was someone that actually gave me money to enroll for my WAEC. I enrolled for that WAEC. My results were really good. I remember my friend Shirley again, was my very close friend while I was in secondary school. She called me that, there was this particular form was out for diploma in accounting. And that was how I went. She took the phone for me, she paid, and I got into school. It wasn't easy, I won't lie to you. It was really difficult. I remember when after, it was OND, it was diploma in accounting, the first 2 years. So I remember the second year, my diploma, I was told that there was a place in Port Harcourt that you can go work as a tea girl, and you make some money to be able to pay, to have some money. And I wanted to be able to pay my school fees. But I remember as a 200 level diploma, I had not paid for my second semester school fees for 100 level. So you can imagine that. So I went to Port Harcourt for the first time at a very young age.
Absolutely.
I didn't know anybody in Port Harcourt. I didn't know who I was going to go and meet in Port Harcourt. But they said it was Share in Port Harcourt, in Transamadi then, and that once we get there, we can work as tea girls and I will have money. I took that risk and I went to Port Harcourt. Getting there, the story was, different. And thank God for when I was going to Port Harcourt, I didn't have enough money. I hope there's time for this story, David.
Go on.
Okay.
We must appreciate you.
Okay. And when I was going to Port Harcourt, I had to go stand along the road in Benin. There's a place called Sapele Road. I stood along the road because I didn't have enough transport to go enter the car at the park. So while I was there for over 6 to 7 hours. I couldn't get a cheaper car or someone that would give me lift to Warri before I go to Port Harcourt. Then there was a particular man that stopped. His name is Mr. Ayo Akinsolayin. I'm still trying to get in contact with him till now. I've not been able to do that. Mr. Ayo was a staff of Share Warri. So he picked me, and in getting to Warri, he was asking me, well, where are you going to? I told him where I was going to, that they said there's a job for me in Port Harcourt and all stuff like that. I remember him giving me, as at that time, 2,000 naira to, take transport from the park, from Warri to Port Harcourt. And I should let him know whatever that transpired. And I'm so grateful to God that I met that man that day. If not, I don't know what would have happened to me in Port Harcourt. So when I got to Transamadi in Port Harcourt, it was pretty late. I met there. You won't believe I didn't even think about where I'm going to stay. My own was that if I get to Port Harcourt, I'm going to Share, tell them, oh, I can do this. They should give me the job. I just needed money to come and pay my school fees. When they told me that, okay, I had to sleep in a security post till the next day for the interview for the tea girls. I slept in that security post. Thank God nothing happened to me. As a young girl, I was really pretty young. And the next day I was not taken. And I remember, thank God, Mr. Ayo gave me his number. So I went to NITEM, then it was NITEM, to the NITEM booth to call him. I told him my plight. It was him that actually not sent money to me through NITEM. I think it was card then, that somebody bought from me. I had to take transport back from Port Harcourt the next day back to Warri to meet with him, Mr. Ayo Akinsolayin. I don't know where, I've been trying to get in touch with him, but it's been really difficult. It was somebody that was really good to me, and that day, when I got to Warri, he gave me the particular amount of money I needed to pay for my outstanding school fees. Gave me, some to pay for the previous, for the, new level and all that. And I had to go back to school the next day. That's one of my stories. Getting back, it wasn't easy too. He was there for me for like 2, 3, or 4 terms. For the 200 level, then I did my direct entry. I went back for direct the same year. I got my direct entry to the same accounting and finance, but this time degree. He did his first term in 200 level for me too. He did all through first and second term in diploma level diploma, then first term in degree diploma. And then I was not able to get in touch with him again because I used to go to Warri then to get money from him. There's so much. That was how I practically finished school. Either one person is giving me or somebody else is giving me, but I never gave up. I didn't want to travel out. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to go to school, and it wasn't easy, but I thank God that we are where we are today.
That is a fantastic story. You see, personally, I think you being blessed by God, being given, gave you the motivation to want to give back.
Definitely.
So, in that vein, can you tell me a bit about HMI school? Ooh. Tell me about your dreams and the future of HMI. Thank you.
Okay. Like I said, I've already told you about my background, and it was one of the things that motivated me in starting up Help Ministry International 247. It's a ministry of its own, and it's a help ministry, and the help is 247. Anytime we're there, and our vision is to take vulnerable orphans and vulnerable children back to school. Any child that has nobody to support or sponsor them back to school, HMI 247 is there for that. That was how this vision was bettered. And our vision actually is that we go to poor communities, rural communities, and we set up schools. We set up school, entrepreneurship center, and a shelter. That's the vision, And our target is to ensure that from any community we go to be able to at least take at least 1,000 street children, orphans, and vulnerable kids back to school. These are, now presently we have a school called HMI Stars Academy. It's a very standard school. It's a British school. It's a Nigerian British curriculum-based school, so it's standard. And we have about 78 kids in that school now. And, we have from early years, the grades, and the secondary school, And our desire is to have at least from this community, like I told you earlier, we cut across 5 villages to have at least in a school that can take in 1,000 kids from that community. So any community we go to, we build a school, we set up a shelter, and we set up an entrepreneurship center. Every child in our school must learn a skill. It's a must. It's not just the academic aspect of it, they must learn a skill. So we have an entrepreneurship center, we have our machines, there's so many entrepreneurship skills that we are teaching them here, And then the shelter, we've gotten a land already. We are building a standard shelter for the kids. And for example, let me give you an example. I picked up a boy called David, your namesake.
Are you serious? Okay.
In 2019, it was on the street. It had nobody, And what I did was, in fact, what the NGO does is that when we pick a child from the street, we are registered with FCT, we are registered with AMAC, we are registered with Women Affairs, we are registered with Ministry of Health, we are partnering with Ministry of Budget and Planning. We have about 6 to 7 NDAs in Nigeria that we're registered with. So once all the protocols is done, what we do is that we find that every child belongs to a family. Every street child has a family. Maybe 1 or 2 things happen, just like maybe how my, childhood was. Maybe the family, the parents have problem, or they don't have parents anymore. So I saw David, and I picked up David, and we traced the family, and we found out that David actually David is an orphan, but they came into Abuja through his uncle, his late mother's brother. And there was issue with the wife and, You know, David was, at the time we picked David up, he was 10 years old, you know, and we had to talk with the uncle and everything. As at that time, our shelter was not ready, so we had to like, okay, David's gonna, you know, come back to the house, but the NGO from that on will be responsible for his education, for his feeding, and that's how it has been since 2019. David is one of us here in HMI Stars Academy, and since then, his education, his feeding, his health, anything has to do with David is on HMI 247. So that's just an example of how so many of these kids came into the school. And we tend to do more. And I want to just quickly say this, David, children are going through hell in Nigeria. You know, as at 2019, there was a statistics that said we have over 10 to 12 million street children in Nigeria. And I can tell you, I think it's more. A lot of vulnerable kids on the streets of Nigeria. They are not going to school, they are not doing anything, they are just on the street. And one thing the government and the people do not understand is that the 7-year-old boy you refuse to take off the street today will be the bandits or the unch that will be waiting for you in that local jail road in 15 years' time. That's the truth.